Support comes from Universal Pictures, presenting their new film, Welcome to Marwen. From the groundbreaking director of Forrest Gump comes the boldest and most original film of the year. Based on an inspirational true story and starring Academy Award nominee Steve Carell and Leslie Mann, Welcome to Marwen celebrates the power of friendship, hope, and healing. In theaters this Friday. Palm is back and available on Verizon. Palm is a small, practical companion device that syncs with your existing smartphone, so all your info is seamlessly connected. Palm isn't a replacement for your smartphone, but it has all the same mobility and capability, allowing you to leave your smartphone behind so you can focus on what's in front of you. Go to palm.com, that's PALM.com, to learn more, and run to your nearest Verizon store to check out Palm for yourself. Hello to everybody with hidden voice talents. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hello everybody, Chris Gethard here, welcoming you to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous, a.k.a. the best job this guy could have ever stumbled into, because I get to talk to you kind people on the phone. And hey, if you're out there, I haven't mentioned this in a while. If you want to call, keep trying to call. And if I haven't even said in a while, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I say that not to plug my social media, but that's where I put up the phone prompts. And yeah, you'll see jokes and show plugs and videos of me doing jujitsu poorly, and then also the plugs come up for how to call the show and when I'm in the studio. So last week's episode was our sit down in person from Toronto. We talked with someone who is a translator for the Japanese community in Toronto, and the courts told us about that. And a lot of people really said her personality was incredible, and they wanted to be personal friends with the quote unquote caller from that week. And that was really nice to see in the Beautiful Anonymous Facebook community. There was one guy who brought up a valid point, I thought, where he said, I forget if he said he was dating or married to an Asian lady. And he said, not all white guys are fetishizing people. And if I ever implied that, I apologize. I don't think I was ever trying to say that every white male who's ever dated an Asian person is somehow fetishizing them. We were just going from the context of what the caller brought up. But apologies if anybody was offended or felt judged. Not my intention. This week on our beautiful follow-ups on Stitcher Premium, we catch up with the girl who escaped from a cult. Don't miss that. Okay, what else? Do I have a show? I got a couple shows coming up in Queens this week, and then Brooklyn in January. We opened up 2 more shows at Union Hall because the early ones sold out. Maybe I'll see you there. This week's call, it's a pretty fascinating one. I like this guy a lot. You're gonna hear. I give him a hard time at points. He reminds me a lot of how my friends and I in college interacted with each other, and pretty fascinating dude. You'll hear he's lived like 4 different like professions, and they were all sort of like hard lives, and now he's moved on and he's going to college, but it's not the traditional college experience. And when you hear what he's studying and why and how he wants to help the world, I think you're going to be fascinated with this guy as much as I was. And I'll also encourage you, listen to the end of this call. I will tell you, we finished up this call, and right away, I burst out laughing as soon as we hung up, and Harry got on the mic and said, I think that was the best ending ever. Jared said, yeah, that might be the best ending to a call we've ever had. So, no spoilers, but stay tuned. Enjoy this call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, dude, what's up, man?
Let's see, what's up? Not much today. I just did an interview about my new book, and now I'm doing this. Those are the first 2 things I've done today.
To be honest, I have not been following your career as closely recently.
Oh, that's okay.
I didn't know you had a book out.
That's okay. Sometimes people drop off. Sometimes people lose interest in me and my career, and that's okay. That's the nature of the beast.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I've just been really busy with school. I just got started back up in, I like to call it big boy college.
Oh,
like
wow.
actual university work.
Okay.
After completing my associates, so it's been kind of a crazy last couple weeks.
So you did the associates. That's generally a 2-year program, right?
Yeah. So I started out. All right. So I'm kind of an atypical college student, as in I like out of high school. I went to school to become a mechanic. I did that for about a year and a half. Decided like I wasn't very good at it. So
Okay.
had to find a new path. I did some odds and ends jobs, made headstones for a while. I worked at a leather company. And then I was like, I got to get my ass back in school. So then I tried that. And there's a whole bunch of confounding variables that led to me failing out the first term. I ended up homeless on the first day.
Oh, wow.
And was working at a foundry nights in a really janky warehouse. Yeah, and so I failed out. And then I spent a couple of years doing odds and ends jobs. And then in about 2014, I started back in at school. And it took me like 4 years to get an associate's. And now I'm just finished that up in June, and now I'm moving on to Big Boy College to get a degree in geology. So,
Wow. Okay.
kind of adjusting to that life.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. How old are you? I'm trying to do the math. It's impossible. How old are you?
All right. I'm 28.
So you're 28. You're 28, and you're currently spending your first time at a full-on university.
At university.
Wow.
Yes.
28. Are you so?
Correct.
And do you live? You live at home, and you commute?
I was living with my father. My parents were recently split, and so I was living with him. He had a heart condition, and when my mom left him, it was kind of like nobody else was there because all my other siblings are married off and around the country. And so when my mom left, I moved in there as kind of like it was a mutually beneficial thing where I go to school up in the state that I'm at because it was cheaper. And then also I could be there in case he had any heart episodes. So.
And you said that's what you were doing? Is that not the situation anymore, or you are?
Yeah. So after I did that for a couple of years, and that's getting my associates at a community college.
Yeah.
And then so now I just moved out this summer down to this school that I'm currently at, which is about 2 hours away from where I was living.
So you got an apartment? Are you living in the dorms? What are you doing?
Okay, so that's an interesting. I live in a co-op, which is like the way I like to describe it is it's basically like a frat house without the brotherhood bullshit. So it's
You
like
have your meals there and everything.
There's 31 guys
31 guys.
in our house.
Yeah.
We have a chef that cooks us meals, and it's like it was the most affordable option I could find at the school that I'm at. Because I couldn't find like a single room for under $650 a month just for rent.
And okay, this is awesome. So you're 28. There's 31 guys living there. Who's the next oldest guy?
Yeah. Next oldest guy is 26, and he's a grad student.
Mm-hmm.
We have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 grad students living here.
So some people in your age range.
Most of them are like 18 to 21.
Are they like partying? Are they like getting kegs and stuff and bringing them back by the co-op?
No kegs yet, but yeah, we definitely go hard. When game day comes around, like there's a couple of guys that have like graduated, but they like still come around every weekend. It's kind of annoying, but like, and then on Saturdays when it's like football day, like they make a whole bunch of like pancakes and then there's like beer pong or like baseball in the basement, and everybody gets trashed, and then we go to the game.
And you say we. You've said we go hard, we go to the game. You're getting in on this. You're playing beer pong with the 19-year-olds.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know. I feel a little bit weird being like the older dude, but at the same time, like I'm not that mentally mature. So, I never really, because I didn't do the typical college route where, you do it at the age appropriate time. So I kind of still want to experience that whole, I don't know, the cinematic version of college where you booze it up for a couple of years or whatever. Right. And I'm like trying to keep myself in check with that. But yeah.
I just rewatched Old School on a plane a couple months ago. I rewatched Old School. You're living the real life version.
I am.
You're Frank the Tank.
And broad. That's all I want to do.
You're Frank the Tank, baby.
Frank the Tank. Frank's back, baby. Frank's back.
I love this. So it's game day. You're playing beer pong. Do these young guys start getting fucked up and then giving you shit for being old?
Oh yeah, they can't handle it. That's the thing. I'm like, as a seasoned alcoholic, I definitely can handle my shit for a while and know when to like ease off. A lot of these kids don't, and so there's a lot of just fallen soldiers along the way that go too hard too early.
And do you when these kids are going hard and passing out, do you ever click into like, oh wait, I'm a grown up mode, or are you just like get up?
No, absolutely. Like, all right, so like I'm definitely more like an empathetic kind of person that like I definitely just care for people when they're sick. So it's like I can switch to that role pretty quickly. I'm definitely not the one that's just like, you pussy, and then keep going. I'm usually, for how drunk I get, I stay pretty responsible, I feel. It's a weird role, especially in this house. Like, I just started living here over the summer, obviously, and it's got this whole, like, executive positions to it. Like, it's a nonprofit, so it's fairly, like, it's under, for housing and food, it's under $600 a month for normal, like, rent.
That's pretty sweet.
Which is awesome, because, like, that definitely affords me the ability to actually go to the school that I'm at. But I was actually, I'm very mechanically inclined, so I really like fixing shit.
Yeah.
And I was already doing that all summer anyways, because when I came in, it definitely had the vibe of there's only been 18-year-olds living here for the last 10 years, and nothing's ever been done to it. So, like, keep it up. Like, doorknobs falling off, baseboards that are ripped off, blinds ripped down. So I spent, like, half the summer, like, I did 2 calculus courses over the summer, and I spent, like, my free time fixing up the house. So I actually, this last week, was elected into the position of, like, house manager, which means, like, I get 50% off the normal rent.
Oh, nice.
And I get to go around fixing shit all day. So
wow,
it's kind of a sweet position.
So you're already doing that anyway. Now they're going to give you a little kickback on it.
Yeah, I get a little something extra on the side.
Now you're partying with these kids, and they're young people. And I remember from when I was in college, very often I think back, and I would sometimes very much be feeling hard feelings and feeling melodramatic. And now from my perspective of where I'm at now, I'm like, oh, that felt so real to me. I respect the fact that I felt that way, but my problems then were smaller scale than I realized. Do you ever have times where like you're like hanging out with like a 21-year-old kid and he's had a couple drinks and he starts going on about some stuff and you're like, hey man, like that's cool, but when I was your age, I straight up worked in a fucking foundry. You ever have that conversation? Like, I was making headstones.
I try not. I have and I haven't. So like I try not. I'm very like, everybody has their own journey, and so like this kid's living his journey, I lived mine. Mine varied, and I just kind of offer perspective. And like that's. I give a lot of advice. I'm always been the guy on that shoulder, like cry on, or someone that will just sit there and listen. And I try not to put myself in that position where like, quit being a little bitch, like you have it so good or anything like that, because everyone has their own anxieties and their own struggles with where they're at. So I I kind of just sit there and I go, yeah, man, well, have you ever thought about it maybe this way?
So you have the more
And just trying
mature
to offer
version.
up, like,
You have the more mature
Yeah,
human
like
version of what I'm thinking.
yes. I don't know. I like to think that, like, I don't know. I spent a lot of time thinking like I was living in this realism perspective, but then I was talking to one of these kids, and like I was saying something, and to me, my perspective is I was just being real about the situation. I didn't really know what the aspect of it was as far as like that I was being negative, but he just got on me. He's like, fuck that, man, fuck that. There's no reason for you to be so negative in that space or expect something to go wrong. Like, it's just as realistic to expect that it would go fucking awesome. And so he like jumped down my throat on it. And like, I'm 28. Listen to this 20-year-old kid like ream me out. And it's like, he's fucking right.
Really? And there's no party that wants to get defensive that's like, really? Because I've cared for my dying father and I used to make fucking headstones, so I know what mortality is like. I faced down mortality. I used to make headstones. You little liberal arts asshole.
An instant part of me wanted to be like that, but then I'm like, you know what? Like, I've gone through like a lot of, like, I really relate to a lot of your struggles. It's like a lot of anxiety. I have mild OCD. I have an anxiety disorder. I have all these, like, I've spent a year where I didn't leave my room and was put on like 9 different sleeping medications in a month, like put on bad, just antidepressants where, like, you know, so I've been through that mental health ringer enough to, I guess, be open about like and accepting of different perspectives of life. Because the thing that ended up helping me the most out of like all the like mental health shit that I went through was just like therapy, like as far as like just talking it out. Like, all the medicines are just like, they're a Band-Aid, but they're a mask. They won't actually get to the root of the problem.
They buy you a lot of breathing room, but you still got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just I opened up because of all that. And so I definitely, from being like, I used to be in that position where I'm like, you don't even know what fucking real is, you little son of a bitch. Like, and then I definitely opened up from that.
That's cool.
The perspective to be, because like, I used to think like you're like 4 years younger than me, what the fuck do you know? Or you're 10 years younger, what the fuck do you know? But like, man, nobody knows what the fuck's happening.
Exactly.
And so you accept all advice.
I think that's true.
Not all of it. Some of it's bullshit, but
I think that's
you'd
really
be
true.
open to a lot, and you can actually like gain a lot from people that are, you know, younger than you. And it's taken a lot for me to like shift my mind from this like, you're young, what the fuck do you know, to like, oh, you have like value in your statement, and you have perspective through your own experience to offer that's different from mine. And like, I mean, it takes all kinds to run this life, so why shouldn't I listen to you?
It's true. I tell you, I think
I don't know.
We underestimate young people, and it's such a foolish cliche to fall into, you know? I just did a college gig earlier this week on Tuesday, and I had, you know, there's a whole thing with comedians where it's like, yeah, comedians, a lot of the big comedians won't even do college campuses because everything's so PC and you can't speak your mind there. And I had a bunch of jokes that I was thinking about cutting because they deal with some harsh stuff. And then I was like, nah, man, like, if I bomb, I bomb, or if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. And I even said on stage, I was like, you know, I thought about cutting this stuff because it's a little more risque. But then I was like, I don't want to underestimate you guys, that just because you're young, your opinions don't matter. And I think that maybe some of the comedians who avoid colleges because they get slammed for being offensive need to think about how to say what they're saying in a smarter way. Maybe they should listen to you guys instead of cut you out.
You cut out there for a second.
That's okay. I was just on some fucking high horse anyway. Let's move on. It's fine. It was just some dumb thing. I was on a high horse. I'm embarrassed I said it.
You there?
Yeah. So you were a mechanic, huh?
Okay, cool.
So you were a mechanic for a while?
So I was a mechanic for a while. Through high school, I kind of did this technical college thing where, like, I'd go to the technical college for, you know, half the day. And I went through all the classes, and it was very much just to learn how to fix my own car. So going through that, like, I kind of fell in love with it, and that just became, it's a very formative time in high school, right? So that became who I was for a while. It's just I'm a redneck mechanic kind of
Yeah.
kid. And I very much didn't grow up that way at all. Like, my dad is a contract attorney, so like for like a large corporation dealing in like software and stuff. So it's not like I grew up redneck, but then like when I was like 18, I started hanging out around the redneck kids in my school, and that's who I kind of turned out to be for the early part of my 20s.
Now let me ask you, like, and again, I'm falling into a stereotype here. Might be true, might be not. I know. Were you like in trouble in school? Because I know that when I was in high school, the kids who got sent to the other school to work on cars for half a day, they generally were kids who maybe had gotten in some trouble, who would get sent off campus to do more tech-driven stuff.
I didn't. Like, I chose to do it, and I don't know. I was a shit high school student. Like, I barely graduated, but in general, like, I went to class. I wasn't too disruptive. I definitely like ended up in the principal's office a few times. I got one kid arrested, kind of on accident.
How'd you do that?
He was like a fucking bully, and we got into an altercation, and he was like choking me, and then he like got off, and he's like, "You fucking pussy," and I was like, "You touch me, I'll sue you and your family for all you're worth." And I very much played my dad's a lawyer card, even though my dad never spent a day in court. And he made the comment like, "Oh, do it, you'll be dead before you get home." And so me not thinking, I'm like, "Oh, like, I want to see if this is true." So I called the law office and asked them if I really could sue them. And they were like, really like, "You should call the police." And of course, not thinking, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's the next step in this, to find out if I can sue this kid." And then I called the police, and I was like, "Can you just tell them like not to do it anymore?" And they're like, "Oh no, you called the police, and this happened on school property. We have to make an arrest." I was like, "Oh no, please don't do that. That's gonna be bad for me." They're like, "Well, too late."
So they arrest this kid.
I filled out a report and everything. It was bad, and well, I thought it was gonna be bad. It turned out to be fine. Like, the kid came into the principal's office crying. Turned out he'd like smoked a whole bunch of pot during lunch. And then like, so he was high and scared out of his mind. And then he got arrested for like assault and battery and like threat upon life and having drugs in a like a drug-free zone. So
wow,
he got what was coming to him, kind of.
Did you have to face the wrath of his crew after that?
No, that was the thing. Is he really didn't have a crew. He was just kind of an asshole. So I would like he was in my weights class, and so there were some kids that kind of lifted weights with him, and I'm pretty sure the kid was on steroids. But like, they're like, "Did you really get that kid arrested?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I didn't mean to." They're like, "Good, that kid's a dick." I'm like, "Oh, hey, it worked out."
Nice.
So I don't know. I got in trouble a little bit in high school, but definitely wasn't like, it was more so to like, as the question is like, to fix my own car. I had a 1985 Volvo wagon that was in bad shape, but I learned to fix and keep running on random. So
now, can I ask you a couple questions, just on a selfish level? So this is maybe out of line, maybe not the best listening for the listener at home. So I got a 2012 Ford Fiesta, and just last night I'm driving it, and there's a lot of traffic. And I'd been driving like an hour, and I see all this like smoke coming out from under the right side of the hood. I couldn't tell if it was smoke or steam. Engine coolant light comes on. Am I fucked on this? It's got a little under 70,000 miles. A little bit under 70,000 miles on it.
Okay, let me ask you this: did you keep driving on it?
I drove it.
Did you pull it over?
I drove it about another half mile to where I was going, which was my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. I took a class because I'm a badass. And then afterwards I went and I put some water in it and drove it to a gas station and got some coolant, dumped it in with the water. I've been thinking about getting rid of this car anyway, so I might just do it. I might just get rid of it.
It sounds like you blew a heater hose.
I went over a big
coolant line.
I went over this big thing that I thought was a speed bump, but I think was just a big fucked up chunk of road, and it went like up and hard, like I came down. I was like, "Oh, that was bad."
Oh, you might have fucked your radiator, honestly, on that then.
So I gotta just get rid of it. I'm thinking about buying a new car anyway. I'm not going to replace the radiator.
Just get a new car, guys. Like, don't waste your time with a Fiesta.
Spend some of that Casper money. Clearly, discussion of my 2012 Ford Fiesta is this show at its most intense, and therefore I think we need a break. Luckily, we have some advertisers to provide that break. Listen to the things they offer. If they appeal to you, use the promo codes. It really helps the show when you do. We'll be right back. Support for today's show comes from Third Love. Using millions of real women's measurements, Third Love designs its bras with breast size and shape in mind for an impeccable fit and incredible feel. Just answer a few simple questions from Third Love's Fit Finder quiz to find your perfect fit. Third Love offers double the number of sizes that most brands offer, cups A through H, bands up to 48, and with lightweight memory foam cups, straps that won't slip, and tagless labels, you'll want to wear these soft and breathable bras and underwear every day, especially the new cotton t-shirt, bras, and underwears. And they got a 100% fit guarantee, okay? So returns and exchanges are free and easy. My wife enjoyed the Third Love experience. She thought the process was super simple and smooth and actually made her feel very included in the process of figuring out exactly what she needed. And she thought the detailing on the bra that she received was quite nice. She made a point of mentioning that to me. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone. So right now, they're offering my listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/beautiful now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/beautiful for 15% off today. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and lifestyle. Okay, Stitch Fix. It's a cool service. Used it with Hallie, my lovely wife, and we loved it. We loved it. She was able to pick out all sorts of stuff that really fit her wheelhouse, and she's a stylish person, but it's real specific, you know, and she was able to go through and have an experience that felt really personalized to her, which is not always easy when you're doing your own thing. You got your own look. It's cool. Then they sent the whole box. She was able to go through it, get excited, pick out what she wanted. It was awesome. Stitch Fix can help you find your new favorite piece of clothing. Just go to stitchfix.com/stories and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item. You'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will handpick 5 items to send right to your door. Try them on, pay only for what you love, and return the rest. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. There's no subscription required. You can sign up to receive scheduled shipments or get your fix whenever you want. Stitch Fix's styling fee is only $20, which is applied toward anything you keep from your shipment. Get started now at stitchfix.com/stories. You'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all 5 items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/stories to get started today. stitchfix.com/stories. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's get back to Beautiful Anonymous. I'm not going to replace the radiator.
Just get a new car, guys. Like, don't waste your time with a Fiesta.
Spend some of that Casper money.
I don't know. It depends. So to answer the question on that is, if you drive too long, if you overheat the engine, the thing that's going to happen is you're going to warp the head. And that's kind of like the cap that goes over the pistons, right? If you want that, they're machined down to be like contacting perfectly so it can contain the explosion that happens within the engine that drives the power.
Yeah.
And if that gets warped, then there's gaps, and then that pressure escapes to places it's not supposed to be, and then that's how you end up with fucking your engine. So
I can't put any more money into this car. Can't put any more money into this car.
I mean, it sounds like it might be like a radiator issue, so I mean that's not too expensive. But if you're not digging the car anyways, I wouldn't advise keep throwing money into it. I'd start looking into something that you are proud to drive or you want to drive.
I'm trying to get a hybrid, do my part for the environment, you know?
Yeah, treat yourself, Dad. Like,
thanks,
save those dollars on gas.
Man. Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
I might go out and get I'm looking at the Kia Niro. You got any opinions on the Kia Niro? If anybody listening has opinions on the Kia Niro, please let me know.
Kia Niro, I've never even heard of it.
It's a hybrid SUV from the Kia company.
My brother just got a Kia Cadenza.
Oh, how's he liking
it? It seems pretty nice. I haven't ridden in it yet, but
this is just us talking about Kias. It's a good little, nice little sidetrack. Nice little sidetrack where we talk about Kias.
I don't know. We can talk about anything. Like, I don't know. I'm a geosciences major, so I'm like a rock nerd.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that?
But all right. So honestly, I want to work in water. I'm kind of fascinated with water and water science. Mm-hmm. So I originally was thinking of doing like hydrogeology and working in aquifers and doing like aquifer contamination cleanup. But the more I've looked into it, that's been more like an engineering standpoint thing that works on that kind of stuff. And I'm very much not down with doing that much math. For my, I already went through 2 calc courses over the summer and they were like brutal. So I'm thinking more policy regarding water now, because the school I'm at has like one of the leading arbitrators or mitigators in dealing with water kind of conflict stuff. So I'm actually taking a class with him right now. So it's really been really interesting. So I'm thinking I might change more policy-wise rather than the engineering behind fixing contaminated aquifers.
So thinking policy, is this about trying to like influence the government to take action on things related to global warming and towards people's ability to live in certain areas based on the availability of water, that type of stuff?
Well, water is this resource that we all share, right? And there's like several main drainage basins and really like intricate ways that we use water and that we share water. Like there's a certain town in Wisconsin that is like half the town is in one drainage basin while half the other one is in the Great Lakes drainage basin. And like there's a pact between all the states that touch the Great Lakes that they can't pump any water outside of the basin. So half the town can get its water from this other basement, but the other half of the town has to pump it from ground wells. So it's this weird like dynamic is where this whole town, they like can't get all of their water from one source legally because of this pact that divides their town like right down the middle. And so all that kind of shit just really like I nerd out on that. Maybe it's because I'm a lawyer's son or whatever, but I'm really interested in the law and the policy regarding like why we can use certain resources, why we can't, how using things in a certain way might impact, people, other water users down the line. Like I learned yesterday that California, 19% of the energy you consumed in California is used to pump water to Los Angeles. Right, and that blew my mind.
Los Angeles, because I've seen Chinatown. Los Angeles is a place that it's a desert. That amount of people should not be living there if we weren't manipulating it to be so, correct?
Exactly, yeah. And so like they're pulling water from the Colorado River, they're pumping it, or they're pulling it from Owens Valley, and they're pumping it from up north near like near the top of the state. So it's like all these water resources are getting diverted out of their natural spot. And then there's like these concepts of like going into water debt is what they call it. And that's like using the groundwater faster than it's replenished. And like, a great example is like in Oklahoma, there's earthquakes where there really shouldn't be. There's not a lot of plate tectonic activity happening there, and I think all of the earthquakes there, and then they get up to like 3.0s, like sometimes more from what I've heard. And like, it's all from over pumping water to feed Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. Like that's one giant aquifer right there. Not like Olala, something like that. But because they're pumping so much water, like the internal structures of the earth are actually collapsing, creating earthquakes. Wow. And that shit blows my mind. And so I don't know, that's the shit I geek out on. Dude, we're overusing this resource or mishandling it. And there's better ways we can go about it. And I want to look into how we can better do that.
I love that. I love that you spend your whole week thinking, man, there might be an opportunity to really like research this use of natural resources, how we're disrupting the land, how we might be overextending ourselves as a species.
Yeah.
And you spend all week doing that, and then Saturday comes and
Yeah, I
you
don't
get
know.
fucked
very
up with the kids, man. Saturday comes and you start getting fucked up.
I can't wait till Saturday to just stop thinking about. No, I think about it more when I'm like drunk or high than anything.
Now, as someone studying science right now and someone studying the effect of humanity on the actual Earth, how scared are you?
As far as like, I don't know. So, like I said, I have an anxiety disorder, and I used to worry about, oh, what is my impact going to be on this world? But when I got into the geosciences, it relieved so much anxiety for me because I thought about not only our planet or like everything around, because I used to get so worried about all these problems. And then I thought about, I'm like, well, the Earth is still going to be here after we've fucked it up and we're long dead and gone. Because when we talk about like, oh, the Earth is dying or whatever, it's like we're really just shooting ourselves in the foot with like overconsumption and, you know, reducing EPA regulations, all this stuff that's contributing to higher amounts of greenhouse gases that warm the Earth. Like the Earth is going to be fine. It's us that we're kind of fucking. But that idea of like that I'm kind of pretty much like insignificant in the grand scheme of things of like how old, like the Earth is like 4.6 billion years old. Like we're like, if you were to put all of Earth's timescale on a football field, we're like less than the last inch of all of humanity.
Yeah.
Like to the goal line. Like it's so insignificant in this time, even though we're really fucking up for the rest of the animals. Like, I don't know, that to me, it provides a little bit of solace. So I don't really worry personally. I mean, I do, because I like to snowboard, and I do like the winter. I like being cold, but I don't like huge, nasty storms. I worry and I don't, to answer your question.
So I don't
know.
On a grand level, you've come to learn that humanity is going to erase itself into non-existence, but we've had such a relatively low impact that if we stop being self-centered, we can see that Earth will be fine. But on a mini level,
yeah,
you're bummed you might not be able to snowboard as much if the snow melts.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super bummed about that. And like, I really feel for people that like are subjected to these nasty storms. So like, I don't know, last summer I was in a really bad